Hi, I'm Marilyn Harper.
And I'm Joy Roby.
And I just love our little talks like this.
Except this is like
we're really close.
Yeah.
Woohoo. So, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about our business. Yes, I'm a channel, and Adironda and Company.
The business of channeling, I think, is what she means.
So Joy is the translator. If you haven't,
is this our first episode of Two Girls in a Galaxy?
Maybe. Joy translates. I speak in tongues or something, speak in broken sentences, and Joy tells you what I mean. Does that okay? Does that work for you?
It works for me.
Okay. So, I've been for 10 years, 1999 until 2010. That's actually 11 years. I was working and channeling and working full-time and channeling at night and going away on weekends and doing all kinds of things and had a business. It was a tiny business, but it was still a business that I loved, that I had a drive for. I mean, I'd been working on channeling for a while, and I'd been bringing in the messages of Adironda and what we knew then as the company. Now they are the Council of Light. And I just wanted to share with you that everything changed when I met Joy Roby. That was 2010, and she came in and brought her area of expertise, which was business and art, and she brought that to Adironda and actually named the company Adironda and Company. Before, it was called Your Soaring Spirit, which doesn't have anything to do with anything except I was able to get that URL.
She had that going for her.
Yes, and I was smart enough to get MarilynHarper.com.
Yes, always get your name.
Always get your name. Tip number 1.
Yeah.
Always get your name.com. But in that energy of beginning, I mean, I had worked and did, talk about pushing up my shirt sleeves, pulling up my pant legs, and doing everything myself. When Joy came along, Joy showed me and Adironda a whole new avenue of enlightened business, a whole new awakened sense of what a spiritual business or an alternative business could look like. I had no idea. Well, it wasn't long before Adironda said, well, you're supposed to open up your own branch of Adironda and Company or whatever. And we started talking about it. Joy started brainstorming it, and she's been talking about Soulopreneur. That's SOULO, preneur, for now 9 years. And she is just getting ready to launch this, and I'm so excited to be able to share this with you and to be able to help you understand what a solopreneur is and what it does. And the best person I know to tell you that is Joy. Joy, what's a solopreneur?
Well, a solopreneur, SOLO, is somebody who is a one-person show. It's somebody like what Marilyn was doing. You're a one-person company, and you do everything. You might hire out a few things, but for the most part, it's you. And it can be pretty darn exhausting. It's a tough way to go. A solopreneur, SOULO, I believe that's pretty much everybody out there who's listened to this far. Because that's somebody who is an entrepreneur or wants to be an entrepreneur, and they have a soul purpose, SOUL, a soul purpose. And they want to get it up and running, and they may have, we talk to people all the time who have great ideas. What is it I always tell you? Ideas are the easy part.
Yes.
Ideas are the easy part. I can come up with ideas all day long. And how often do you hear people say, something amazing comes out and the person says, that was my idea? Well, I believe that ideas are like, it's like a dandelion. You got a dandelion and the universe goes, whew, and all of those little, whatever they're called, seeds that are in the dandelion just kind of spread all over earth, and all of a sudden a bunch of people go, hey, I've got an idea. And you talk to people and they have similar ideas. Everything's a little bit different, but the thing is that it's the person who does something with it. It's the person who actually takes it out there and puts it into action. What I like to say is massive imperfect action, which we know that one well.
Yes.
But massive imperfect action is how you get it going. I watch people who are brilliant that are in the same spot now that they were 8 years ago when I met them. And the only thing that holds people back is themselves. They're really the only one that holds them back. But what we did with Adironda and Company was just like in the first year, I think we quadrupled your revenue year one.
Yes. And which is still was not an exciting number yet.
No, but it was what a lot of people earn in a year.
Right.
It was a decent number, and that was just by paying attention to a few little things, like pointing out to you a few little things, like building your market, not just showing up, but like thinking down the road how to build your market and knowing your market.
I will never forget the first time we did something together was in that little park in Joplin, Missouri. And like on the way there or the night before, Joy asked me, well, what kind of special offer are you giving them so they will give you your email? And I'm like, what? What? They will just give me their email. They don't care. And I'd never thought in those kinds of terms before. I know that in the beginning, especially for 2 or 3 years, Joy asked questions about that even
triggered Marilyn.
Yeah, absolutely triggered me. But that absolutely were things that I'd never, ever even thought about. Who's my avatar? I watched the movie. Who's my target market? I said everybody. Well, no. What happens with that information? What makes me different than everyone else?
And what's your story?
Yes.
What's your story? What's relatable? What can people relate to?
And Joy asked me all of these questions and really got me thinking about what are those answers. And these things come naturally to Joy. She knows how to see things from Adironda says that your superpower is being able to see things from 30,000 feet in the air and then pick the components and the straight line to those components.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought everybody did that until I met Marilyn.
And realized that I took the scenic route.
Yeah, she takes the scenic route. I always thought that everybody kind of like zooms out, looks at the world in relation to what they're trying to do with their purpose or their business, which I believe can be one and the same. And that is the ultimate best life ever. We can attest to that.
Yes.
When your purpose is what you do for a living. But I thought that everybody could zoom out, see all of the infinite possibilities around them, and then pick one and zoom back in, 2 or 3. And, the thing is that once we did that, the first year was really getting up and getting some structure, which we got. We quadrupled your numbers.
Yes.
The second year, we tripled your numbers. We
Yes.
hit that 6-figure mark because then we started to really put some structure in place and plan.
And in the planning part, it's like that was not a part of my brain power.
Yeah, if it was 2 weeks out, you were good to go.
I was good. I could get any event right here, but to think of how I'm going to move from this to this to this to this was not how my brain worked. In working with Joy all this time, she has shown me how one thing can lead to another, which can lead to another, and it has been so wonderful to watch her and to hear her and to now launch private sessions.
Yeah, well, I've done private sessions in the past, as you know. I worked with a handful of professional channels, and I helped them get their business up and running. And I sort of stayed away from working individually with people because people are at just so many different levels, but then I realized something just this year, actually. Well, maybe it was last year, but I realized that it didn't really matter where you were in your business. Where you were is as far as you can be as you are in that moment, meaning that who you are in the world, who you believe you are, who you believe your market is, who you can imagine, that is as far as you can go in that moment. In other words, the only thing that holds you back in your business is you. And usually it's something, people will blame it on the economy. I don't believe in bad economies. I've made a lot of money during economic turndowns. People will blame it on competition. I don't believe in competition. If you've truly identified what makes you unique, the thing that you do that no one else can do, like Marilyn is Adironda. No one else at this point channels Adironda, and I don't think anyone would ever channel the way that you do. That's what makes you unique.
Yes, but I think that there's a lot of people out there that they really don't know what makes them unique, and that's where you come in handy, because you ask questions and you sort of ferret it out. You kind of keep digging until I realized what it was that does make us different, that does make our channel different, that does make our classes different, that does make our speaking different. You asked enough and nudged ever so gently enough until I got it, until I realized it. Other people can probably tell you what is the difference, but you have to understand it and realize it and do it yourself. It can't come from somebody else. But Joy really has that capability. I watch her and I marvel at the way she arrives at a situation. And I've watched her. You've built, before you met me, you built, 3 multi-million-dollar businesses?
I've built a half a dozen businesses, and I've sold 3 of them.
And we're not multi-million-dollar at this point, but you never know. And it's always that. But we've also found that when you're not doing it, there's some emotional cause that's preventing you for doing it. I found mine. You may have even heard evidence on it on this interview. And in that, Joy has the capability to help you find that blockage and then release it and heal it. It's a powerful, powerful connection, and that really is what makes Soul, Soul, Opreneur, work, is because it's opening up your soul to your own divine purpose and helping you find your passion and ignite that passion towards your life, towards your dreams, towards just flat out getting it done.
Well, and I think the other thing that I personally am really passionate about that has come into my business coaching in the last 10 years while working in this spiritual industry, because I was definitely not I was in insurance and all kinds of other big ticket internet companies. And when I started working with spiritual people, I realized that you guys have an edge. Like, you're not even using it. It's so cool. It's called intuition, and you know how it works. And there's no reason why you, of all people, can't figure out your unique message, because you've got people talking to you. You've got beings talking to you in your ear, or you've got a knowing, a feeling. And when you tap into that, it's just like, see how excited I get? I get so excited because now you are truly co-creating with the universe. You're not copying. You're not going and looking at what other people are doing and other people's websites to find the words. You're actually out there creating the next version of what you do in your business. You're creating the next version of what your business could potentially be. You're the leader. And to me, that's just so exciting. That's definitely what a solopreneur is. A solopreneur understands that their work is really important for the planet. And they want to get their messages out, and they want to be unique. They want to be authentic. They want to speak their truth. But what I've found is sometimes that's the hardest thing to figure out alone, because you're working in a vacuum, and we don't always know ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we don't always know. I mean, we do this great exercise in our clerkshops where you go and ask people to tell you 5 things about you, and people are blown away when they come back the next morning. They're like, wow, these people rave. They rave about you, you know, because we have this little voice in our head that's pointing out all the things that we didn't get done today, and no one else is seeing that. Everybody else is seeing the amazing you that's out there.
And that's really the key. And I think that that's what Soulopreneur really is helping people see the amazing them, and then helping them, if they want, turn that into a profitable business.
Yeah.
Can
we talk about that for just a second?
We can talk about anything.
One thing that surprised me when I first started working with Marilyn and a few other people was money issues. Like, I'd never encountered that in business before. You know, people were like, I can't charge, or, you know, like, can I use you as an example? Sure. I mean, she decided her hourly rate was what it was, and I was pointing out to her, you can't sustain your business. Like, how did you come up with that number? And she said, I don't know, I like those numbers. No, that's, you know, there is a certain amount of groundedness that goes into business. You know, there is that part of it, and you absolutely can charge money. You absolutely should charge money. Money is just another source of energy, and it is the source of energy that we use to feed ourselves with, to pay our bills. It is the most common source of energy. I mean, can you trade things out? Sometimes, but you really should be charging a rate that you feel really good about.
Yes.
I mean, you have something special that nobody else on the planet can do.
You know, I have to, exactly. And I have to use the double digit as an example.
Okay.
You know, because we just had our 10-year anniversary for the double digit, which is, 10 years of every month doing a monthly broadcast. We started out with 28 subscribers in a little place in Branson, Missouri.
And I think they were all here for the broadcast.
I think so. A lot of them were. And I would go home and I would record it on my little digital recorder, and I would put it into the computer, and then I would duplicate all these CDs
by hand
in my computer, put them in a jewel case, put a label on it, and then mail them out. And when Joy came on the scene in 2010, she said she did a calculation and she did all that and looked at that and said, now how much do you charge for a session? And I told her, and she says, okay, so each CD, and it takes you how long to make a CD, which was like about 15 minutes, plus the cost of goods. And she said, well, each CD is costing you about $38 in time and energy and products and supplies, and you're charging $10. So that's the kind of thing that Joy does. One of the things that she does, but the other thing that she does is she sees that blockage that may be preventing you from your own success and knows what to do about that and works with you through it so that blockage doesn't exist any longer.
Let me just give you a few examples. Let's say you have a business, you're creating a product, you've figured out how to manufacture it, you've got a website, you've got it up there, and you're not selling anything. Why? Why? Is it because you don't know how to implement the marketing? Is it because, I'll tell you, it's probably, if it's been more than 3 months and you haven't actually done it, it's because something is holding you back subconsciously. Because all the answers are out there on how. I mean, you can sign up for so many different marketing classes online, and they will teach you how to write an email, how to, broadcast an email, how to do Facebook marketing. But the thing is that if your message doesn't hit home with your market, it's all lost,
And,
you know?
And how would you even know that? Because, I picked things that I liked. I picked things the colors that I liked that had nothing, or the verbiage or phrases that had nothing to do with a marketing catchphrase or a branding phrase. I mean, when you looked at my brands, it's like, well, so this brochure doesn't match that brochure, which doesn't match this brochure, which doesn't match this card, and it's like,
it's an identity crisis. I think they call that an identity crisis.
Yeah, it was an identity crisis. So, we just wanted to tell you a little bit about Soulopreneur.
Because you'll be seeing more about Soulopreneur, and if this is something that interests you, and if you think I can be of assistance of you, I would so love it. I love our people. I love working with our people. And what I've discovered is that since Adironda and Marilyn have now been announcing it on stage, that I'm completely booked up. And with traveling and everything, I'm really having a difficulty finding slots for the people who want to do private sessions. So I did what you should do with your business. I went into meditation. I asked Spirit what to do, and Spirit said, work with 10 people one-on-one for 6 months, which is what I'm going to do, and then open up another part of the program where people can come in and have access to the material and have access to the group so that they can get input, because that's one of the most important things, is to have a good mastermind group, but not commit to having to have one-on-ones with everybody, because some people are either not at that point right now where they need that, and they're just learning, because it is a constant learning process, business. You'll constantly be learning how to do marketing, how to do business, how to use technology. Not that you have to do the technology. You can always find people to do that, but you should at least understand how to talk about it, so that when you're ordering, when you're ordering, that's not the right word, but when you're hiring somebody to set up systems and processes for your business, you know what you're hiring them to do. It's a complicated process, and it can be a little intimidating.
It can be it can be a lot intimidating. Trust me.
So if this is something that you're interested in, let me know. Send an email to info@adironda.com, and let me know if you are interested in one-on-one coaching. I'll tell you more about it. I'll get connected with you. Or let me know if you are interested in energetic marketing classes, energetic business classes, conscious business classes, and understanding how to set up those processes in your business, and tapping into your own intuition so that you can really, really communicate your truth and your authenticity. I'd love to work with you.
And she's really good. Namaste,
She's
y'all.
my biggest fan.
Yes, absolutely. We love you.
Namaste.
Namaste, y'all.